Big Buck Hunter Marksman has finally been released. Skillz launched their newest iteration of the Big Buck Hunter game recently called Marksman, and it's been doing really well. In their recent press release, they mentioned that it had hit 3rd place in the sports category in the App Store. When I checked today, it was at 6th, but holy mackerel, look at the ratings, man. I don't often see games with 4.7 stars. So I tried the game out to ensure that it's super realistic because, though you guys probably don't know it, I'm actually huge into deer hunting out here in downtown Japan, so I gave the game a shot, and I did enjoy it. Like a well-made YouTube video, it launches you into the action within seconds and gets you hooked with a really slick and easy to use interface. Matches only take like a minute, and you're immediately rewarded with something like gaining a level, or you get some points, or if you're playing for cash, you can get cash. And immediately the invitations for you to start putting cash in the platform come. If you add $5 to the system, they'll give you $5 for free, that kind of thing. Those who are excited about the future of Skillz stock are aware of the fact that while the industry standard only yields about 2% of players willing to fork over cash in-game, Skillz boasts something like a 17% conversion rate. So when you're monetizing such a large portion of your player base, it's easy for companies like Play Mechanics, the developers of Big Buck Hunter, as well as Skillz, to make good money. We're seeing this virtual cycle boosting Skillz monthly revenues consistently. I think last I heard, Skillz monthly revenues hadn't decreased in something like 5 years. That doesn't mean expenses don't go up or average monthly users are always going up, but they are figuring out how to milk more money out of the numbers of users they do have, which is a good sign for investors. In the last earnings report, we saw ARPU's average revenues per user jump from $7.69 per user to $12.46. That's beast growth. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Trey with Benevolent Investors. While eradicating the world's population of digital deer, we do our best to make bank off of our investments so we can turn around and make it rain on our families and communities. With all the drama going on in the world right now with supply chain bottlenecks, rising bond yields, and our man J-Pow potentially being dethroned shortly, Skillz isn't the only one with big bucks getting shot down, if you know what I mean. Skillz is down like 52% in the last month. And a lot of you guys are panicking and like, dude, what do I do with Skillz, Trey? So I just wanted to reassure you, yes, I'm still holding it. And yes, it still makes up like 3% of my portfolio. Not that me, holding a stock should mean anything for your investing situation. And yes, it is still the biggest loser in my portfolio by far. But take hope, brethren. Besides the little positive and incremental news I mentioned earlier about Big Buck Hunter Marksman and its growth so far, we also saw that millions of users are playing it, and they're running their usual massive tournaments as well. On top of that, in my earlier video, I'd mentioned with the partnerships with the NFL, the new exit game deal, the new Archie deal to lower their advertising spend as well, which is by far their largest ongoing expense. There's a lot to look forward to. But at the same time, not everything is super groovy hammer time. Check out this HyperChart showing Skillz' number of outstanding shares. They're in the habit of just cranking out shares like it's freaking J-Pow or something. They do have plenty of cash on hand as a result, at something like 700 million bucks, but a lot of that comes from share creation. That's not always good news, but it's forgivable in a young company that's gearing up to grow really aggressively and take over an industry that's been in a stranglehold by a few major players over the last few years. On the other hand, we're seeing the company making some wise moves to manage their executive compensations. Y'all know that I'm a car boy and a Tesla lover, and one of the things Tesla has done with Musk is basically set him up to make ultra bank when he brings success to the company, but if he doesn't, leave him with just, basically super feeble pay. Skillz has set up a similar agreement with CEO Andrew Paradise, who's been criticized in the past for kind of, being a little bit too eager about cashing in on his options. Now, I'm not saying this executive compensation model is perfect for every company, but seeing a young and developing business that has such long-term potential make restrictions and demands on its CEO is a good reinforcement that shows that they're in this for the long haul. There are a lot of other companies that could learn from this strategy to reinsure their investors. Check it out, like a really addictive completionist video game, the more the market cap grows, the more shares Paradise earns, with a max of 16 million shares if he can 5x the market cap. Skillz stock price has actually breached $40 before, back in January of this year, so 5xing it from $9 at this point doesn't seem like that extreme of a request or a challenge. But the challenge for Paradise is keeping it above that line for more than 60 days in a row sometime over the next 7 years. So that's really good for investors who are looking to like not want to end themselves every time they look at their Skillz holdings. Next, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our longtime viewers, but I must apologize first because I'm a noob at Russian. Yaroslav Zakharov. Actually, speaking of Russians, here in northern Japan, we run into them here and there. I met this guy in a small town in northern Hokkaido who invited me into his house and proceeded to shower me with all kinds of exotic seafood like uni and ikura, along with unhealthful quantities of vodka, and then gave me a kiss at the end of the night. It was fun and interesting overall, but I don't think he would remember me if we met again. So back to Aroslav's comment. He did a bit of sleuthing around on LinkedIn to find that a bunch of the staff on board at Skillz include people who've had long careers at places like Sony's PlayStation branch, Zynga, Adobe. Zynga's like another large, well-known mobile gaming company, and like numerous others too. It's easy to look at a company like Skillz and assume they're just some typical app startup with 3 computer nerds sitting around in their family room drinking squirt, but this company really seems like it's going for the gold with a bunch of their staffing picks. I did also touch on ARK's holdings of Skillz in the last video, where a bunch of people commented saying, nah man, ARK already sold all their Skillz. But that's just not the case. ARK's current holdings sit at about $175 million, and they're split between the ARK K fund and the ARK W fund. So if you're looking to stay invested, or even, getting into Skillz for the first time while it's cheap, just like everything ARK, remember to keep your eyes on the 5-year plus time horizon to avoid going mental. I'm in it for the long haul, and with all of these partnerships, which are going to be building steam kind of going forward, I really wouldn't be surprised if Andrew Paradise ends up getting a 16 million share bonus. So if you're investing in Skillz, understanding the ARKy, exit, and NFL deals in more depth are going to be crucial to maintaining a positive outlook and your sanity for this stock. So click here to learn more. Love you guys and stay generous.